All right, I'm recording. So, Gwen, you want to just introduce yourself? So this would probably be the board that's watching this, but others could.
I'm Gwen McDonald. I'm the Habitat Restoration Director for Save the Sound, and we're talking about the Pond Lily Dam Removal Project. In regards to the planting plan, we've designed an array of native plant species to be planted at the site after the dam is removed. And this is a riverine ecosystem, so what that means is seasonally the water level at the site will change pretty drastically if there's a flood event or just spring versus spring water levels versus summer. So we choose an array of native plant species. Some of those are wetland species in the areas that are going to be more likely to be flooded around the edges of the bank, and then some of them are more upland native species that might be good forage food for wildlife and birds. And then at the edge of the property along Whaley Avenue, we wanted species that would grow tall and screen the property from the road and allow it to be more private than it would be if we were, for example, to plant low shrubs along that edge.
Yeah. And how complete will this be, like, right after the plant? Do all the plantings happen at the same time? Do they come in over time? And then it will grow, right?
Yeah, so the site will be seeded. We'll put native seed down directly after the construction project. So we're going to take out the dam hopefully starting in July. So we'd be planting in the fall, and then we would probably do both planting the shrubs and planting the grasses and seed either in the fall or the spring, or maybe a mixture of both. Maybe we want to do a staged planting where where you're able to have multiple volunteer events, for example.
Sure.
But initially the plants will be of varying sizes, from small shrubs and little plugs that are about 3 inches tall to tree size. But we also accompany everything with a grass seed cover, so that grows really fast, and then you make sure that it's holding in the soil immediately.
Yeah. And so the contractor will actually do the physical planting? Is that the...
We don't know that yet.
Okay.
You'll see that this schedule that you photographed here lists the different plants that we and the quantities that we intend to plant. On our other projects, we've done a combination of different ways to get the finished product replanted.
Volunteers.
Some volunteers. Some of it will depend on what kind of funds we have left. Some of it will depend upon what other organizations want to do in terms of having their membership and friends be involved with it. So we'll probably play it by ear. Down at Edgewood Park, we had a huge volunteer event. We got about 2/3 of the plants in the ground, and then our staff finished it up the rest of the way. So it just depends on what the availability of volunteers are, how much money we have left, how hard it is. For the larger trees that Gwen was talking about, it makes sense to have a machine in there that you can dig it deep enough. So we're not prepared to say exactly how we would get the final planting done.
But at the end of that year, the plan is that we will have all of the foundations, the trees, the grass, and everything, and then it will require continual maintenance or continual intervention to ensure that it seeds right, that it becomes what we want it to be?
So the site will restore itself. There's actually probably a native seed bank in the soil. And that means that's
nature's seed bank,
right? Yeah, it's been underwater for a long time, but the seeds are still there. What you guys, as the owner of the site, could help with is help limit the invasives from coming into the site. And this is a great place to do it because you're going to be starting out with native. The natives get a jump on the invasives basically by us planting and seeding them. And so instead of fighting the invasives that are already there, you'd be limiting their intrusion on the site, which is a little easier.
Cool.
Also, I've been going to these West River Watershed Coalition meetings, and there's at least 3 different groups who've expressed a significant interest in helping to fight the invasives.
Yeah.
It's Friends of Edgewood Park, Common Ground High School, and Solar Youth have all expressed a pretty serious interest in working with you guys to combat that. So that probably will be a organizing task for you guys going forward.
Well, and I'm just trying to figure out what is our organizational obligation, what is the risk of the site not being in an ideal condition at any point, if something doesn't happen the way as planned. And that's what I'd like to know. So I'm going to stop recording unless you guys have any other things about plantings you wanted to throw in there.
I guess one thing is that it would be nice for all of us to start thinking about what you guys want as far as a simple trail to connect the site.
Yeah.
On the site that's going to be, there's a lot of earthwork going to be done. We're leaving a place for a trail. On the other side, we aren't really modifying this as part of the dam removal project.
Yeah.
But it's something that you guys could think about that would go along really nicely with this project if you guys wanted.
And I think what we had sort of, the thoughts have developed over time. You remember we started with a bridge and then we backed down a little bit from that. But I think this is sort of a crushed stone type of thing, right? Is that what you guys were thinking? Is that this sort of trail?
It doesn't have to be. It could be anything.
It could be anything, or it could be nothing. Yeah.
Right.
On this side, I think it's just a dirt path, which is very lo-fi, and there's almost that. I mean, there's that coming up into here, and then the question is how do we use the exit, or we want not much impact on that side, and then I'm not sure what's appropriate on this side, so maybe we just leave it natural. Mm-hmm. There's just, if there were a reason, if we thought there would be use without impact to the land on this side, or educational value to access the stream on this side, well then we would do it. But so you're saying essentially this line here is a vision, but not a necessity.
It's a placeholder where we wouldn't plant so that it could be a trail. Likely it would be as it is. It would be a dirt path.
Yeah. Okay. Well, and we've done a lot. I mean, if we wanted to do crushed stone, we'd have to check that was appropriate to the site and didn't impact things. But that's not hard for us to get and do.
Okay.
That's wheelbarrows and volunteers who've done lots of that. So, okay, thanks, guys. That gives me a little summary of plant stuff.